Welcome to the Direct Radio Soccer Show. I hope everyone is keeping their chestnuts roasted during this cold winter. A shout out to the cartel on FN Nation and to everyone on the OneLoveSoccer.webs.com. My guest today is Mr. Jim Rome, notorious hater of all things football or soccer as he calls it. Welcome to my show on that very sport, Jim. Do you find it odd you're on a soccer show?
I never had any interest in it personally. So if you had told me 1 year out that I would be here and be involved, I would have said, you're high. You're high and I'm high.
Well, maybe we are high, Jim. Let me ask you this simple question. Basic reasons. Why don't you like soccer?
Soccer sucks. Soccer will always suck. Soccer's a reason to riot. Soccer's a big waste of time. I will never come around on that. NASCAR I did a 180 on. Horse racing I did a 180 on, but I can look you in the eye and any camera anywhere and tell you soccer will always suck.
Jim, who's that laughing in the background there? Is that your mom?
She's been charged with providing alcohol, marijuana, and sexual favors to more than one of her 16-year-old son's high school hockey teammates.
Oh. Well, that might explain your hatred of soccer. She doesn't sound like much of a soccer mom to me, but maybe more like a prostitute.
Booze, bud, and sex.
Ooh.
I mean,
that sounds horrible. See, my mom raised me differently.
And I'm not into talking about anybody's mom.
What? But you just said some pretty harsh things about your own mother.
Like I said, a mother putting the T and A in PTA.
Oh. Jesus, that certainly sounds pretty scarring for you.
There's no other explanation, right? She's not right. There's a chemical imbalance there.
So, she was into drugs, eh? It sounds like she's lucky to maybe not have been had some charges pressed against her.
Weed and sex.
Yep. Yes.
Pressing charges? What is she guilty of other than being awesome?
Okay. Have it your way, Jim. Have it your way. Don't you think if the rest of the world loves soccer, that might be a hint to your little spanker ass that maybe you're missing something?
Like, what about the non-U.S. Americans? How do they feel about this whole thing?
What? They love soccer, Jim. That's my point. Your cliché rants about soccer violence and unfair fouls in soccer are so simple-minded. If there were 200 countries with pro and college American football leagues, there would be plenty of eye-gouging, cheap shot punches to the nuts and to the face, fans rioting after championships, just like there are here in the USA. In general, soccer is not fan-violent or made up of the cheap shots and the fakes. What say you about my argument here?
It's a random string of words that do not connect, where one has nothing to do with any of the others.
Oh, okay. I thought my argument was pretty clear. Do you think Americans are incapable of playing or understanding soccer?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable...
What are you talking about?
And they don't have maps.
Maps?
Therefore, such as...
Maps. Maps. What could I do to change your mind about soccer?
Dude, sleepover, your place.
No, I don't think so.
Tell your mom to pick up groceries and wear something hot.
My mom? I thought you said you didn't discuss other people's moms. Alright, okay, forget it. What do other people you know think about soccer? And who do you hang with?
Listen, I don't really know any strippers, personally.
Strippers?
I've never had a conversation with a stripper about this sort of thing.
Alright.
But I think we're all pretty safe in assuming that strippers hate their dads.
What? Okay, that's probably true.
Why do you think they became strippers?
So you're saying you haven't talked to strippers about soccer. Okay, fine. But don't you think there is fan violence in sports here in the United States as well? Football, after the basketball games, etc. How is that a justification in your mind to hate soccer?
Now we're splitting hairs. Honestly.
We are?
Because...
How so? Haven't I been fair to you so far, Jim?
Hey, look, I know you were there for me when I was a little girl.
What?
I know that you protected me and taught me right from wrong, and you always had my back.
No.
And you were the best father that anybody could be to a daughter, and I love you and I thank you for that.
I think you may have me confused with someone else, Jim. Okay, we'll move on then. Maybe you are high. How about David Beckham? Do you think he's impacted the sport of soccer here in the United States?
Don't give that guy any credit. Don't give him any run. And don't celebrate that crap.
Okay, fine. That was rather a third-grade level answer. What about baseball? It can be very low-scoring, and many of the players are quite overweight.
34% of all Americans are overweight.
Yes, they are. So you're saying Americans don't like soccer because the players are in better shape than in other sports? Is that what you might be saying?
34% are really fat. Fat. 33% are just fat. Fat.
What?
But then again, look around you. And I don't mean go to the gym. I mean just go to a normal place. Who around you isn't a little overweight?
Okay. So, how do you feel about the MLS? There are some fine athletes in Major League Soccer.
It's so funny that they've got to steal bread from a duck to eat.
Well, Jim, it's not that bad. Some of the players are paid pretty well. Yes.
Chooses to sleep on a park bench when it's 8 degrees outside.
Who does?
And the best part of their day is when they can roll up on a duck and rip some bread out of its beak.
Jim, that is pretty ignorant statement about soccer. Would you say you are ignorant about the sport, thus your stupid comments?
I mean, I know that your life didn't turn out the way that you wanted your life to turn out.
What do you mean?
But that's no reason to celebrate the misfortune of those who are even worse off than you.
Well, like you. Well, I wasn't trying to degrade you, really.
Bums are people, too.
I wasn't calling you a bum. I'm just saying I've covered the sport for 30 years, and you seem pretty ignorant about its positives.
You don't do it because you want to.
Yes, I
do. You do it because you have to.
No.
And then you take the spike, and then you die.
That seems a little melodramatic. But don't you think your criticism of soccer is pretty cliché? It sounds like somebody who's never really watched much soccer at all, especially, say, top-class, world-class soccer, like, say, the English Premier League. I mean, every American half-wit uses the same excuses you do, and they're morons.
You know what? I'm not going to stay on that point very long.
Why not?
I'm not going to belabor it, because it's only going to encourage other jackasses.
So now, you're calling me a jackass. I'm a jackass. And you use random examples on your show to prove soccer is supposedly stupid and that it sucks. I could do the same for football, basketball, etc.
You win, jerk. You win. You got me to respond.
That was unnecessary. Last word. What things are better to you than soccer? Name some.
Baseball, chocolate shakes,
yes,
lawnmower, big gulp. Everywhere, such as
what?
Basketball, the asphalt.
Asphalt.
Therefore, clouds, gasoline, mud, hammer. Therefore, TV, dog, non sequitur, carpet, dry cleaning, the rack. Rack me.
No, thank you. And who's going to win the World Cup in your uneducated guess?
North Korea.
Nope. Okay, Jim. Thanks for coming on the show. And perhaps we'll talk again sometime. Maybe you'll look into the sport a little more. I recommend a little early morning EPL.
See you next segment.
Okay. Bye then. Once again, thank you for joining me on the Direct Radio interview show. I hope you'll join us again. Remember to keep your chestnuts roasted, but don't hold them over an open fire, for Christ's sake. Alright, folks. Goodbye.